It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
My name is Mike.
And this week we're diving into the Spider-Verse. Most of our show is Spider-Man stuff, Mike, because we have that new Spider-Man 2 game out this week that we have literally probably dumped all of our free time into since Friday. We've got some details on that canceled Sinister Six movie that was floating around for a little bit there. Remember that?
Is that the Andrew Garfield one?
Yes, the one that's Amazing nice. Spider-Man 2 was setting up, and it had like Drew Goddard involved, and all that fun stuff. Some more details on the upcoming Madam Web trailer, Mike. I know we all forgot that existed until those words just came out of my mouth, and more.
It's crazy how much more interested I become in something that I originally never wanted. Once I know it's canceled and it's never to be, like I would pay so much money to watch this Sinister Six movie. Like if somebody like gave me a mysterious address, I show up, it's like an empty parking lot, then a van shows up and they're just like, give us the money and we'll give you the hard drive or something. I'd be like, yes, let's do it. Like that would be awesome. Like I'd love the mystery and the exclusivity of watching something that's probably awful. So what I'm saying is this should be Hollywood's new strategy, right? Like that Batwoman, or was it Batgirl? That Batgirl movie. That's exactly how they should be releasing that. Just charge people like $600 to watch it. I mean, I think between you and me, Chris, we could split it halfway and watch it.
Oh, absolutely. I think and that'd be something I would be proud to own. Like we share custody every other week. We ship this hard drive back and forth across the country because obviously we shouldn't be putting it on the internet.
They should they could burn that pilot for like was it the New Warriors or whatever it was, and put that on like a burnable CD and then just mail it out. Like the less prestigious and mysterious the project, they're just putting it on crappier media. Oh yeah, so right. I'm sure there's something on VHS out there.
It's just a burned video CD that someone sharpied the name on there, right?
Oh my. I mean, we are already on a tangent, so I might as well continue it.
Oh yeah.
There's this awesome guy on TikTok. He's like a tinkerer. I don't know if he's like an engineer by trade. But he's amazing at fixing electronics. And he purchased a vintage 1980s VHS vending machine.
Oh,
and it's gigantic. This is like the size of like 8 red boxes. And this was a real thing that you would go up to out in the world. I don't know if this VHS vending machine was inside of a location like a building back in the day, or if it was truly out on a curb. Right. I can't imagine it was curbed.
They didn't have waterproofing, I feel, back then for something like this, but yeah.
But just like imagine just a gigantic wardrobe vending machine, huge glass in front of it, and you go up to like this little 1980s computer and you type in the number associated with the VHS spine that you can like all see, and it's just like this mechanical arm that goes up and just pulls it off the shelf and gives it to you, and it's like it's so cool, but like it's been amazing watching him like dive in and repair it because it's such a beast. There's like so many components in it. So he'll make like one video of just like, okay, today I'm going to show you how I fix the receipt printing component. Yeah. And it's nuts because he just goes on eBay and he can find like these obscure parts that I wouldn't think that still exist in the world. I was like, oh, this guy's for sure going to have to like 3D print some sort of like clip or like switch or something. It's just like, no, they're just out there in the world. Well, there's just like limitless amounts of stuff for sale on eBay.
Well, I think it's also like that stuff back then. They just made one part and used it in 20 the different things, right? Like they would like, we got this one piece, let's put it in as many things as possible. And this day, everything is like proprietary, so you can't swap pieces as easily. So that sounds right. I mean, one of my YouTube things that I go down is a channel called Odd Tinkering, which is, it sounds very similar to that. Where like, I've been whitening all my controllers, right? I watch this guy do it, or like take apart broken Game Boys and put them back together, but he doesn't talk. that's the beauty of this channel. He doesn't say anything. He just does it on screen. And like there's some text, occasionally saying what he's doing, but like there's no voiceover, there's nothing. It's just sounds of the actual
I'm looking
scrubbing.
at this right now. Chris, this is like you and me Venn diagram, because I follow people on TikTok that do this exact same thing, but they're like restoring like vintage like 1950s like lanterns or like meat slicers from like a butcher. But this is like the same thing, but with like nerdy stuff. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this. This tab is going to be pulled up. You know what? I'll just subscribe to it. Chris has recommended it.
That's right.
I have subscribed.
Subscribing on YouTube is one of the things you can do to help people who put videos on YouTube. So if you're listening today and you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, feel free to do so. It costs you nothing, and it gives us more likes. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, absolutely. That stuff is, I love Odd Trinket. I love it. Someone said it's like repair ASMR on that channel. Someone said, and I was like, yeah, it is. I hear the brushes. I hear like the scrubbing, like doing the brightening and the whitening. It's really fun on that tangent. But I will say we don't have it in the news, but I've watched two things this week, Mike. Because I don't binge things. You know this. It's very rare that I sit down and binge something. But a couple weeks ago, you recommended the show, or at least, I don't know if you recommended it or if you asked me to download it, was Taskmaster. And because you have seen the clips on TikTok. I did not know. I'd never seen a clip of Taskmaster in my entire life. I've only watched the show at this point. But I'm on season 4 of this show. And, the first season, 6 episodes. The second 2 and 3 are 5. And then starting with season 4, they go to 8 episodes a season. And what is awesome about Taskmaster is they're all comedians and they're all just like fucking brutal with each other, Mike. Like it's hilarious how mean they are to each other, but like in a fun way. Like they all know each other. It's not like personal. It's like he's like, this sucks. Every episode starts, they have to bring in an item, and whoever wins that episode with the points gets to take all of the items home, if that makes sense.
I love that premise.
Yeah, and on this current season, there's one person who has has come in last every present round or gift round at the start, and it's been pretty funny. But this season also has an old one of the original hosts of the Great British Bake Off, Mel, is in it, and then right next to her is Noel Fielding, who is one of the current hosts of the Great British Bake Off, and they didn't have that back in like 2016 when they were doing this. They both weren't on the show, so it's really funny to watch them interact and have that. So I could recommend Taskmaster to anybody all day, but it is a British show, so you have to be prepared for some British humor in this.
Yeah. I feel like there's an entire just like British like cinematic universe of performers, and you start to kind of pick up on them the more you watch these shows. Like you'll start one, and you'll be like, I don't have any idea who this person is, but the crowd seems to love them. Then you move on to your next British thing. Maybe it's a TV show, maybe it's a variety show, and that person's popping back up again. You're like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get it now. I organically caught one episode of Taskmaster when we were on vacation across the pond, as they say, and they were doing this hilarious challenge where they had a fixed amount of time and they just had to get underneath as many things as possible.
Okay.
And they were like, I think there's just like a Taskmaster house or something that they
it's a set.
A lot.
There is one set. They use that house for every episode. Yeah.
And they have to be as original as possible, because if somebody else does the challenge and gets underneath something, like the two objects cancel each other out. So people are just like laying down, putting a book on top of each other, putting like a pencil, or they're asking like the cameraman, hey, will you get on top of me? So really funny. So Taskmaster's great.
It's really funny show. I'd recommend to anybody. Again, I think they have 16 seasons right now. And again, they're shorter seasons, right? They're not. This isn't like serialized television. It's kind of like you mentioned, a variety show, like a bunch of quote unquote skits, but they're task, and it's really, really funny. And it's great to again, like you said, every season I'm like, I know this person from something. What were they in? Oh, that was an actress in the Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret. I don't know if you've ever watched that show. And I was like, that's a really good show too. But I was like, I know that person. So it's been fun to do it. But like, it's also hilarious. Like I've not laughed this much in a long time, and we'll sit down and watch 2 or 3 episodes a night. Just kind of binge through that. So that's been really, really fun. And the last thing I was going to say, Mike, I've now partaken in one of the biggest movie openings of the year. with seeing the Taylor Swift The Eras tour with my wife on her birthday.
Yeah, that's right. I love the way how you described the theater to me in a text message afterwards.
Yeah, they're a cult. Swifties are a cult, but like they're a cult that does good things. They're the yin to the Snyderverse's yang, right? Like literally, Taylor Swift has been re-releasing her albums, Taylor's version, right? This is a Snyderverse, but for Taylor Swift's music. But like she's doing it so she controls the music, and like big corporations, don't control her. And like whenever they re-release it, guess what gets all the streams on all these services? Like Taylor's version. But like she says something and she wants something good to happen, and guess what? All these people go out and do good in the world, right? They're not like blowing money on skywriting planes or like being mean to people on the internet. It's very, I wouldn't say wholesome, but like it's like it's a cult, but they're doing good things for it, really. So it's very interesting. But I will tell you, the theater experience for a concert film like this, Mike, is the exact opposite of everything we would ever want in a movie theater experience. There are children running around, literally dancing, singing, glowing lights, people on their phones, people talking. This is not a movie you sit down and watch like. I would say it's the exact opposite of the current Killers of the Flower Moon in theaters, right? Where you would sit and watch and be quiet and pay attention. This is everything I hate about going to the movie theaters in one, but because it's a concert movie, right? Like, people are singing, it's more, I say more relaxed atmosphere. It's more of like a community viewing than anything. So it was fun to see. It was fun to be there. My favorite part was the Coca-Cola freestyle machine. I didn't hate the show. I just don't know the songs as well, right? It's like I don't know it. So it's fun to see the stage and think from a technical point of view how all these LCD panels on the ground, on the back, how someone creating this artwork, preparing the show, right? Like choreographing it is fantastic to look at that stuff. But it's not for me. But I still had a good time. Went with my wife for her birthday. But I told Mike they now have peace tea in the Coca-Cola freestyle machines, 0 sugar, and it was peach razzle twist. So it was a peach raspberry tea with no sugar, and that was actually like my heaven in a bottle, like in a cup. Like I was like, this is fantastic. I love everything about this. So I would say it was a good time for that. But I thought I should bring that up because I had to give up most of my Friday. To watch this movie because it is a 3-hour movie, Mike, and they still showed trailers before this movie, if you will. Even though like it's not a theatrical showing kind of thing, it's like you figure it would just kick off.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of odd to prime yourself and possibly seeing like a trailer for The Nun too.
Well, I think they only had one scary movie, but like. What's that upcoming duck movie? The animated duck movie? Like
I haven't seen a trailer for it, but yeah.
They have a Taylor Swift song in that trailer, so like they played it. So
no possible secret Deadpool 3 teaser in front of Taylor Swift.
No, not even nothing at all. Not even a hint and a wink at it. But anyway, so we did that this weekend, and then all my other free time has been spent literally swinging through the city of New York, Mike. And I think if you're ready, I think we can just get into this.
I think there's one thing I have to plug just before.
Plug it.
And speaking of things that's been keeping us from not only talking about Spider-Man, but also playing Spider-Man this weekend, there's a new show that dropped on HBO Max that has just really intrigued me called Scavengers Reign. I don't really know much about it. I mean, I follow a lot of like animation artists on Instagram, and I think every once in a while I would see somebody share like something on their stories about this. So I was aware of it, so I went and checked it out, and it is fascinating. It's so imaginative. There's 3 episodes out right now. I don't know if it's supposed to be a mini series, a limited series, or if they're going to get more out of it. I don't even really know why HBO Max would even make this because it seems like so niche. Mm-hmm. But it's about a group of, I think they're like, I don't know if they're space miners or just like space like workers, engineers, but they're running like some sort of like spaceship, and it crash lands on this planet. The pods disperse across the planet, and we're just dropped in on them trying to survive on this very unique world. And I should mention right now, because I realize I haven't said it yet, it's 100% 2D animated. 2D animation style, but it's so visually different, right? It's not like they're mimicking like the style and look of like Rick and Morty. They're not trying to mimic anime. It's like their own unique 2D flat character design, and it's like beautiful. It's fascinating to see something so different. It feels a lot like an indie graphic novel. It's the best way I can describe the art style. Like all of the shadows are painted 100% black. It's very graphical. So it's a joy just to look at. They flesh out the world of this mysterious planet so well. They'll take moments just away from the story just to like zoom in on like a bug on the ground, and then since it's an alien bug, it does something like really weird that you wouldn't expect it to do. Like its eyeball comes off, and then it turns into like a spider, and then like a weird lizard eats it or something.
Yeah.
Like, so they're taking these moments to really flesh out this bizarre planet that they're on. And the story is also really fascinating too. It's like it's a very dramatic story of these people trying to survive. So this definitely is not like adult animation, something that you'd see like on Adult Swim. This just feels like it's just this own unique story. It's so intense at times. It feels like, oh, this just could have been like live action if they gave it enough budget. Like, so it's kind of interesting to see like a story that doesn't necessarily have to be animated, but they're animating it and using that ability to just really make the world just visibly appealing.
What would you say this animation style is? Because I mean, you sent me a clip, or not a clip, a screenshot the other day, and I'm like, it's not quite Ruby animation, right? But it doesn't look like standard flat animation. Like, what would you describe it as?
It's like a mixture. Like, they do a really, really good job of all modern animation now, especially if it's 2D, is using 3D elements. So if there's like a character on a vehicle, or if they're like doing a big panning or motion shot, they will incorporate 3D elements, but they do a really, really good job of making it feel 2D still. So yeah, that's the thing. It's hard for me to kind of describe exactly what it looks like. This is like the epitome of like an animated short film stretched out into a series, right? If anybody ever sends you like an animated short, like on YouTube or something, the styles are always so much more experimental. So it feels like they've kind of taken something like that and adapted it into a longer form. But the story is really fascinating. And also, I think one thing that I'm gravitating towards it is you're kind of watching these, like, I guess humans, for the most part, I don't know if they're literally from Earth or not, are trying to adapt to the planet. And it's kind of scratching this kind of like solving a problem itch, right? Where you see they've been stranded on this planet for a little while now, so they're starting to get accustomed to some of the parts of the planet. So they're just like, oh, we need to dive down into this cave, but we know that there's poisonous gas down there. So there's this one animal that we know in the woods that if you like cut them open, you can like take like these like weird stones that's inside of them, and they glow. So when we were flying back from our vacation the other week, we watched The Martian on the plane. Great plane movie. But like, it's that same thing where you're just watching Matt Damon on screen, like on another planet, like solve problems like really creatively. So they bring a lot of that energy to this show. So I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to describe or talk about this show. So apologies if I'm all over the place, but Scavengers Reign, the first 3 episodes are on Max right now. Go give it a watch. It's really, really good. Very intriguing. It's one of those shows where it's just like, I feel like all TV shows, you probably shouldn't be on your phone that much, so you can appreciate what people have made for you. But this is 100% one of those shows where like you're gonna miss a lot of fun detail if you're like kind of scrolling on the side. So if you feel like you got a good 40 minutes to an hour set aside, to go watch those first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I would say it's gonna. I mean, I would also do it before HBO and Max decide they don't want to do this kind of content anymore either.
Oh yeah, this totally feels like a show, especially since it's animated.
Yeah,
it obviously had a long production cycle. 100% feels like something that was greenlit during a previous kind of like administration, if you will.
Yeah.
So I will be pretty shocked if it gets a second season, but it's getting very good reviews. So I think if they can just get eyeballs on it, I can get some more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very much. This is going to be great. It just I worry about the future of this kind of content, right? Like we want it to be there. We always talk about like, hey, it needs to be there. It needs to have it. But it, sadly, the people at HBO don't or Discovery are like, no, we want live action stuff or things like that. But either way, doesn't matter. But that's a good recommendation, Mike. But let's jump into this because we've talked briefly in passing, vagueness of our Spider-Man 2 journeys, because Spider-Man 2 is released on Friday on the PlayStation 5. And is essentially the only reason I own a PlayStation 4 and 5 at this point, Mike, because I there are other good games. Yes, I enjoy, the God of War games. There are some other PlayStation onlys, but this is what really sold me on Spider-Man. Or PlayStation was the Spider-Man games that are only through this. And
you like Spider-Man so much, and you play your PlayStation so infrequently that you are often trying to get like very specific skins and plates for your PlayStation.
Yes.
For this one game. Like you were sending me that Best Buy drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Chris really, he wants to engross himself in Spider-Man.
Exactly. And I think Insomniac has done a great job. And yes, the plates that were, again, I have the Spider-Man 2 controller, Mike. We know this. The plates were having issues going in and out. Best Buy, for life of them, shit the bed in their app crash, and all the bots or scalpers bought them. But they're supposed to release more later, which is cool. But at the same time, I'm like, if I don't get them, it's not gonna make or break my PlayStation, which sits in my little media closet. I never see anyway, so it's fine. But this game came out. I did what I said last week, Mike, and woke up at the ass crack of dawn and went to Target to buy this physically. Or I guess I stayed up until midnight, as I told you, to order it for pickup that day. So I went into Target and I bought and this is gonna be great because as a 36-year-old man, I bought Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation, I bought Super Mario Wonder for the Nintendo Switch, and some Pokemon cards. So I was walking out of there feeling pretty high on Friday. I was like, this is great. This is if I was a 10-year-old boy, this is like the dream right here. This is everything you want in one go. And I brought a physical disc home, and it has to still install from the physical disc, Mike. So that was another 2 hours of that. And then, in case you didn't know, I think you didn't have to deal with it because you digitally pre-ordered yours ahead of time and downloaded it. There's a 10 gigabyte, I think maybe even 40 gigabyte day one patch. And it adds a couple things and it fixes a couple bugs. It's not required to play. I could have played it, but I'm like, yeah, go ahead and give me the patch. I'm gonna go with this. So I did that. So I'm sitting there waiting the whole time, and then I was able to turn it on. And one of the cool things about this game, Mike, is it lets you get a recap, watch a recap of the previous two games if you haven't played them in a while or watched them. Which I know you always recommend Man of Recaps, but to have it in the game was pretty awesome itself too.
Yeah. And it was a really creative recap too. They kind of build it into the narrative of Peter and Miles just chatting. They're flashing back to scenes from the previous game. There have been like one or two characters. So obviously we're going to do our best not to spoil the game for anybody out there because people are going to take it at their own pace.
And we have not beat it yet either. Just so everyone knows,
Yeah.
we have not beat this game. I don't even know if we're close, but yes.
Oh, I'm taking my sweet time with this game. Yeah. So, but there have been a couple characters that have popped up where the game is insinuating to me that I'm supposed to remember who they are, and I'm just like, who are you again? And then I have to get a little bit more context, like, okay, I think this happened in Miles's game.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm supposed to remember this person.
Well,
so if you haven't ingested any of this in a really long time, maybe a YouTube recap could be helpful.
Well, I would say the thing about the recap it does give you is it does tell you in sequential order from the first two games, which is great. Mm-hmm. So the first part where Peter is doing essentially a narrative part is Spider-Man 1, and then the part where Miles is doing it is Miles Morales. But I did not expect Miles Morales to have such an effect on this game, really, at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact he is a playable character in this, I didn't expect it to have that much weight. Well, and yet it does. It has a lot of weight in this game. And they play, the characters, I will say, we go into this, you start off as Peter, then you get into Miles. They play entirely differently, really, at the end of the day. Whereas one is very much, a punchy, webby person. And then Miles has, obviously his electrical powers a little bit to play with, which gives you some unique scenarios to do around here.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to follow any sort of, path when it comes to how we're going to talk about this game. We don't have to organize it.
Yeah.
But you did bring up something that I just wanted to I just want to talk about fun things that I've done in the game.
Yes, dude, tell me.
And you're talking about Miles' electric powers, and so I'm swinging through, I think, like Midtown, right? And I run across my first group of criminals that are part of a cult, right? And they're trying to like brand people, which is pretty brash for a group of cultists in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have seen the game, maybe programming them explicitly for nighttime, but whatever. I guess they're in an alley and no one can see them. So I drop down on them and I see like a new enemy type. So I'm like, I'm not messing around. So I turn on all of my bells and whistles. Like I'm throwing all like the...
You're holding L1s, you're holding R1s, you're just hitting all the face
buttons. I'm doing all the
buttons.
L1s, I'm doing all the R1s, lightning's freaking going everywhere. I'm doing combos, and I eviscerate these cultists in like 5 seconds. And like I put the controller down, I'm just like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I came in like a freaking tornado and annihilated these people so fast that I couldn't even intake what was happening until it was done and over. And it was so satisfying to do that.
Yeah.
And then also hilarious to me because I'm imagining if this actually was transpiring in the real world, right? You know, you're just like a cultist one day, you know, trying to move your way up the ranks in an alleyway, and then all of a sudden just a flash of light comes down from the sky and just destroys everyone, and you're just like, what is happening? So that was just one moment where I felt so empowered.
I was telling about we were playing this one to my wife is like what I like about Spider-Man. He has a don't kill policy until you knock them off the top of the highest building in the game, and then you're like, yeah, whatever. Did they land? I don't know. But the enemy types, the smaller pop up, you know, hey, there's something going on in the map with the red triangles, feels better than the first two games because there's so much variety you can get from those rather than just hey. There's a mugging, or hey, you know, there's I guess some guns being traded. Like there's have you come across a tanker on the street yet, Mike? Like an exploding tanker?
Yeah. And I didn't think the tanker would actually
explode. Yep.
Because the first 2 times I came across it, I was able to take out the goons fast enough. But then I was like, oh, there's this one little annoying goon. I'm going to see if I can do like some fun combos. And then, boom, explosion.
Yeah. So the last one I did, and I did not win because I didn't know there's a timer on those, is I fought the goons, and then the hunters, another faction, showed up in the middle of this. So I actually had the cultists and the hunters fighting me in themselves in the middle of this, and I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of people here," and then the tanker blew up.
It's like maybe I should just take a step back and let the tanker destroy all of these goons. Yeah, that happened to me. You know, I had done a couple like Sandman, Crystal missions, and then I drop in on one, and it's not just Sandman, it's also goons at the same time, and I'm just like, "Oh, what is happening?" Yeah. So yeah, I feel like they're having a lot more just kind of fun, organic moments now. We haven't beaten the game. We don't even know how far we are into the game. So maybe towards the end of the game, it starts to get a little repetitive. That is a possibility. There
are some locked objectives on the map where I am. I'm farther in the story than Mike is. But there are still some locked objectives in the game. I'm like, ooh, I'm interested in seeing what those are. Because every time you unlock a new objective, you get, again, more things to do in that zone to clear the zone out. Yeah, I will say that, you know, on the point of having more people, there are more enemies on the screen than there ever have been, right? That the PS4 can, I think, can handle. But also the world as a whole. Like, there are so many more cars, there's so many more trees, there's so many more people on the sidewalk while you're traversing the city. It feels way more alive than it ever has felt, which I thought was great, and is pushing that power a little bit.
Yeah, and it also feels like very natural, too. Maybe it would be more noticeable if I had just rolled off playing one of the other 2 games. But to me, I'm just like, oh, this just feels right. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm impressed by it because I feel like they're just doing a good job recreating reality. But, yeah, I bet if I was to turn on the old Spider-Man game, I'd be like, oh, yeah, where is everybody? Are they all inside? Are they all working from home today?
That's what I just came off Miles a week ago to finish Miles up. So to me, it was noticeable immediately. I will say the other cool thing, one of the things I'm having the most fun with is a new feature called the web wings, Mike. And I web wing way more than I'm swinging sometimes because I'm like, this is just so fun to press triangle and go into web wing mode, and then you can pull yourself and it automatically goes back into web wing mode. to kind of keep yourself flying. And I think that traversal mechanic, without any load times on the map and without any stuttering I've seen yet, is fantastic.
It's great. They're absolutely necessary too, because they've added those 2 new boroughs. So getting across the Hudson River, it's the only way to do it. But I do like how they're doing a good job where I feel like the web wings don't feel super overpowered. Like the handling on the web wings isn't that good, and I think intentionally, because you're not supposed to be flying around like an F-16. You're like gliding, and like you're just a human being trying to get things perfectly. And when you start to deploy them, especially if you're going over like the Hudson River, right, you feel like, oh, I don't 100% know if I'm going to make it to the other side. So you kind of have to start problem solving a little bit, maybe halfway through. Oh, maybe I dip down and catch this like little wind tunnel. Right, to fly through there over the expressly. I love mixing it into my web swinging, where sometimes I like getting a lot of height on my swing. So sometimes I'll get up a little too high and I'll have nothing to grab onto. And in the previous games, I just have to dive down back into the buildings. But now I can pop out the web wings, glide a little bit further until I start to lose altitude, and then I'm swinging it.
And that coupled with the new super slingshots on some rooftops, which I don't know if you've used yet, where you just literally... it's a rooftop with like a little couple arrows, and you do one of the web slingshots, and it just throws you pretty much across the map at high speed in web wing mode. And I love, like, again, the speed in this game, the no loading screens. It's fantastic. I've unlocked a couple fast travels that I finally got to use, and that like blows your mind the first time you do that.
Don't spoil it for me, because I don't know what the fast travel looks like just yet.
Oh,
that just unlocked.
I won't tell you what it looks like, but it's one you have to. So I guess that's the other thing. You have to unlock the districts of New York, right? And the way it happens is I think almost, I would say a little more, like you mentioned, organic than the first one. The first one's like you have to go to the police towers and unscramble the police towers, and then finally you can see the map. Well, this one is you have the map, but it's kind of dark and grayed out, and as you travel, it lightens it up. Like you uncover things as you travel across the maps.
And I'm sure if you play the game organically with the missions and everything, you probably will uncover the map just naturally. But my brain can't do that. Like I open up the map and I go like, oh, I missed that one rectangle in Midtown. Going back to Midtown, I don't care where I am. I got to undo that rectangle. And it's not like there's anything hiding there, but like I just have to have it open. I was doing the same thing in Tears of the Kingdom, which I had to put a pause on because I'm playing Spider-Man now, where like the first thing I'm doing is I'm unlocking this map. I don't care if the story doesn't want me to do it. I'm going to all the towers first. So that's really, really fun. Have you was it just as exciting for you as it was for me the first time that the other spider person just joins in one of the battles organically? That was so much fun, and I didn't even know it was happening, and I didn't know it was going to happen. Like I didn't know that was a function of the game. Like I just figured, oh, Miles is on the other side of the city where I left him before I swapped off, and then all of a sudden, like I'm fighting somebody, and then magically that new combo happens where like it does that little kind of finisher move with another Spider-Man. I was like, dude, I didn't even know you were here. And you helped me pin this dude to the ground. And then he's just like, oh, hey, I was just, swinging by. And I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah. It really is fun, because that part mine happened to me when I was like, ooh, somebody has electricity here, I need to be careful. But it wasn't enemy electricity, it was Miles' electricity powers he was using. One of the things I would say is the most confusing for me, Mike, and I will admit this, is the economy in the game of tech parts, rare tech parts, hero points, and city points. And
I would say the veil of reality starts to peel away when it's just like you need tech parts to upgrade stuff, or when at the beginning when you're 3D printing drones with like your web and stuff. It's just like, okay, we're starting to stretch the idea of what could theoretically happen in a superhero universe, and now we're really leaning into the fact that I'm playing a video game, which if the game is fun enough like Spider-Man is, I can let some of those things go. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, would Spider-Man be swinging around New York City in a weird cape style Victorian costume? I don't think so.
The costumes I don't care about, but like the idea of like you have to have hero points to upgrade stuff. Like you have suits you unlock and buy different variations for. You have your tech, your R1 buttons that you buy and upgrade, and then you have your hero, your skill points that you buy, and then you also have like 4 other things like health, punching, speed, and focus, right? And I'm like, they don't tell you, they don't hold your hand very early on and say you need X, Y, and Z, but they're shared across some of these things. So I was unlocking suits, but I could have been using those points to upgrade my gun, or my not guns, my gear and other things that I use more in battle that are not superficial. And I'm like, I wish it would have told me that, because then I wouldn't have unlocked any suits until later, and just focus on my gear.
Yeah, and also in the previous games, the suits came with special finishers, but now it seems like the suits are purely
they're just cosmetic. Yeah,
they're cosmetic to a second degree, because you can also unlock different kind of like
colors.
Super Smash Brother like color gradients on the suits. So I do feel incredibly bad for anybody that's playing this game for the first time and haven't played any of the other ones, because that is one of my bigger pet peeves in video games, is when the menu system and all of the upgrade systems are so confusing. Like I feel fortunate enough that I've been trained by 2 previous games, but I'm sure there'll be people that are playing this for the first time, and especially if they're not super video game savvy, they're going to open up that menu on the little touchpad, and they're gonna be like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, they do not hold your hand at all. And not that I need my handheld, or you, Mike, but like there could be like an option like, do you want to go through this tutorial or not, kind of deal. And they don't even give you that option. But it's fun to see again. I believe some of the abilities of the characters evolve, right? You have choices that you can equip different abilities on now. That way you're not just stuck with the standard stuff. Obviously, from the trailers, Mike, I don't know if you're that far, but obviously you get a black suit eventually, and it looks like there's going to be some new abilities with that as well. So I'm very excited to see what those abilities are. Really, I mean, the opening cinematic, once you get past the voiceover stuff, is actually a really fun way to play the game. The first, I guess, opening action set piece, if you will, takes you across the city in some really fun ways.
Yeah, it's a great primer to how to reteach you how to play the game. For me, it felt like riding a bike, where I hadn't ridden one in a while, but once I started getting the muscle memory back in my fingers, I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I love how they've moved the gadgets essentially to the R1 button, and then they have the special skills on the L1. Because in the previous games, I believe
you get to hold a button.
Yeah, they were like hidden behind like a little contextual wheel. So I do like how everything is more at my fingertips, because when I start to really get in the thick of it, and I feel like I'm gonna die soon, I just look over to the corners of my screen and I just go, okay, what is ready to go? Because I need a little help here. I don't know if it's gonna be a gadget or if it's gonna be like a special trick, but I need something to dissipate some of this madness. So I'll just start hitting whatever works, and that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it helps with the gameplay that it's a lot of it is, I guess, stripped back to like just 4 face options, right? Like Spider-Man 1, you had like 10 or 12 things to play with. And I'm like, that's too many. And then you had to hold to rotate between them. With this, you got 4, and you're like, great, I know what these 4 things do. I'm gonna have them at my finger, like you mentioned, at my fingertips to just do them when I want to. I don't have to hold the wheel and think about it in the middle of combat what I want to play with. Some of those are really fun. Do you have the grabber? I think that's like the first one you unlock, right, where it pulls everyone together.
Yeah, I did something really cool with it, where I was in like one of those kind of more stealthy missions in like it wasn't a warehouse, but it was like a warehouse. And these Kraven goons were walking around, and I was like, okay, I've done a pretty good job stealthily taking a lot of these out. There's only like 4 of them left. They're all crowded around each other, so I don't care about being stealth anymore. I'm just gonna drop that web grabber thing, right?
Yep.
So I shoot it down there. It grabs all of them, and it brings them to the center. And one thing I didn't realize is on the floor there was like some sort of mine, like trip mine or something. So I grabbed them all, and they all sucked together right on top of that mine, and they like exploded.
Oh, nice.
I was like, "What the hell was that?" But it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the things you can do and not not know what you're doing sometimes in this game. And as it kind of evolved, I've really had I think air combos are my favorite, right? Getting someone in the air and then just pounding them in the air and then zipping to them and pounding them in the air some more and then going to the next one. So it's been really fun. It's hard to find fault in this game because essentially it just feels like more or like slight improvements on the first one, right? Like
I feel like I have two things that are kind of, I would say, more nitpicky than anything else because I'm having so much fun with the game that I feel like they could just put like, a graphic cyst up in the corner of the screen and I would just deal with it because the game is so much fun. The first one, obviously this will be fixed, are some like weekend one glitches, right? I sent you a video of one where I tried to hit triangle to open a door and Miles just went in a circle. It was kind of funny, and luckily after I hit pause and unpaused it, it fixed it. I was trying to stop a car chase once, and I got to the part where you're on top of the car and I'm mashing square and the car just disappeared. And then I'm just left standing there on the ground like it was like some sort of magic trick or something. And then during some of the flashback scenes where I'm walking around through my old high school, even though like I'm clearly moved on from that segment, I can still see one of the janitors like highlighted and like doing like the little focus highlight like way off into the distance, like the game hadn't deloaded them yet. So I'm sure these are all things that'll be fixed. I don't know if you've ran into any.
I've had. I was one. So it was literally like you mentioned, a car chase one, right? I was doing a car chase, and the car ran into a hunter blockade, and it just stopped, and one person in the car did not get out. So I couldn't finish that challenge, despite the fact that everyone else was incapacitated, but that one guy in the car. I've had one complete crash to home screen as well, but the game picked right back up where I was, so it wasn't, I didn't lose anything, it didn't really do anything, so it took like a 30-second load back in. So I mean, that was about it. That door thing happens outside of that level as well, Mike. I had it happen today where I was on a rooftop and he just kept walking in a circle. But again, those are minor things, right? It's a video game, it's a AAA video game, there's so many moving pieces. 99% of it works. The 1% sometimes falls through.
The only thing that I could attribute to the game just decision is there seems to be a lot more little mini games happening here. So there's a lot of additional things just to kind of get your head around. Whereas I feel like in the previous games, like when you're Peter and you were in Otto's office, right? There were some things that you could do like on the little laptop screens of. I don't even really remember what you get out of doing those things.
I think there were some
points or?
Yeah, you get some tech parts, or like because tech parts are part of the first one. You get some tech stuff to upgrade your suits later, or your equipment later. But it was like it was more of a rotate the piece or connect point A to point B kind of thing.
Yeah. But now those little mini games seem to be everywhere that you go. So you kind of actually now have to take your time to sit back and actually learn them, because it seems like they are going to be more touch points throughout the game where you have to like move molecules around and stuff. But there was one moment where I have to help this building that's like gonna possibly collapse, and there's these like bad guys inside. So So Spider-Man throws a little spider bot inside of the vent, and I'm walking around as a spider bot, and I'm like, okay, this is fun. Like, I get it. Like, why not put it in the game? But also there was one part of me that was a little annoyed, where I was like, I have to learn this whole thing now. I have to learn how to play a spider bot when, like, if I was just Spider-Man in there, I feel like I could do it like just as easily. And eventually you do get inside and you have to like do like a fight scene. So it's like, it's one of those things where sometimes I feel like they're trying to throw too much at the game, but
it breaks it up. I will say I've only I know I'm farther. I've only had 2 Spider-Bot missions, so if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, it's not like I feel like I'm getting thrown into them like every other second. But like I said, these are just like nitpicks. I'm just like trying to think of things to like kind of like balance out the first impressions a little bit. But the game is fun as hell.
I don't want to ruin your experience, but the one thing that I will say that I hate the most it comes back, and that is the Mary Jane missions, Mike. Those are in here, so prepare yourself.
Okay,
however, it is not as stealth because they give her something to do rather than just hide, right? Like, remember last time if they saw you, the game was just over kind of thing. So they actually give you some stuff to do. So prepare yourself for that, because I did cuss at my TV a couple times during that mode because I'm like, I get why they're in here. I understand the story need, but it's a Spider-Man game. Let me play Spider-Man. For God's sakes, let me play Spider-Man. Because it'd be way easier to do this. So those in there. And I would say the other part, again, my biggest complaint, like I mentioned, is the economy. Like the pieces, they don't tell you what you need for each one, or like each one should have a separate economy. That way you know what you're doing in leveling up. I think that would be my biggest complaint overall. But it's hard to find complaints because that's not slowing me down. Like I woke up this morning, 8 o'clock. No alarm, came downstairs, started playing Spider-Man. I'm like, I'm a little kid down here doing this, ready to go. And I cannot recommend this game enough for anyone who likes Spider-Man or has played the Spider-Man games before. Like, this is just a great extension of that world. But I will say, you need to play Miles if you're going to do this game. I think that's a big misunderstanding. You should really play Miles. It's a good game, and then also it carries over. A lot of those characters carry over to this game as well throughout that. So we've got a lot more game to go. I'm excited to kind of see how it ends up down the road, but I don't know. They haven't planned any DLC like they did for the first one yet, but I could see some ideas for some spin-off games later, Mike, like another like a Miles game where they use the same engine, right, the same core, and put some new characters in, kind of thing. So
I mean, I feel like I will have a better idea once I complete the game, but Insomniac is supposed to be kind of fleshing out the character roster a little bit more. I would love to see other heroes. Like, obviously there's tons of villains that they're bringing into this, but like, wouldn't it be so cool if you're doing a mission in Hell's Kitchen and Daredevil shows up, right? Without an announcement of a Daredevil game coming or anything, just like, oh shit, he's in this universe. That's right. Yeah. That would be so cool. So I would love for something like that. Maybe not to happen in this game, even though it would be a fun surprise, but like that would be cool if that happens in like Spider-Man 3 or something. Yeah.
Now, knowing that Insomniac's next game is in fact Wolverine, do you think he shows up in this game?
Oh, that would be cool.
Like an Easter egg, a teaser, or something. Yeah.
Like a post-credit scene like we got in the previous game.
Yeah. So that's my only I'm like, possibly I could see the Kraven, because when the first trailer came out, I thought the Kraven scene was Wolverine. So I'm like, well, I could see some relations here. But I haven't seen anything else since then. But I'd be excited to see that throughout the game. So absolutely fantastic. Mike, if it's okay with you, we can jump into some more Spider-Man news here.
Oh, it's okay with me.
And this is the great, because this is a Sinister Six movie. This is Drew Goddard's Sinister Six movie that was supposed to happen right after Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in 2014. And apparently, Mike, this movie the spinoff was going to have the Sinister Six team, which included a lot of the villains that we saw in enemies at the bottom of the lab in Spider-Man 2, was going to travel to the Savage Land. Are you familiar with Marvel's Savage Land?
Savage Land. I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
That's right.
Famous comic panel.
Exactly. And Spider-Man would ride a T-Rex in the Savage Land, in this movie.
God. Andrew Garfield. That would have been hilarious.
Oh my god, exactly. Or whoever they would have gotten at that point. But like this movie sounds completely bonkers. Here we have Vulture, Sandman, Mysterio, and Black Cat would join Spider-Man and Doc Ock on the team, while Idris Elba, Frances McDormand, Bryan Cranston, Tom Hardy, and Jackie Chan were all wanted for disclosed roles in this movie, Mike.
Oh my god.
Including Woody Harrelson, Channing Tatum, Joel Edgerton, and Jason Clarke. If you could just start naming off famous people who haven't been in a Spider-Man movie. Well, actually, half of these have been in a Spider-Man movie now, but like beforehand, they were not, right? Tom Hardy wasn't Venom. Woody Harrelson wasn't Carnage, so on and so forth. I mean,
And then it looks like
Yeah.
Seth Rogen possibly.
Yes,
is
so
gonna be in there.
even Chris O'Dowd from the IT crowd, Michael Pena, Seth Rogen, and Danny McBride's names were batted around for this. And Michael Pena went on to be in Ant-Man 1 and 2. I forget his name in those characters, but he always told the stories. It was great. So absolutely bonkers is what this sounds like to me, Mike. They had ideas and no plan to do it.
This is exactly the type of thing that I'm glad didn't get made, but damn, do I wish I could watch it right now. Like,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. Also, I can already tell a complaint I would have of just like, why do I want to watch Spider-Man in the Savage Lands, right? I want to watch him in New York City. I want to watch him swinging on buildings. And, but like,
Well,
that would have been crazy.
This seems like the C-list Sinister Six as well, right? Like you like obviously there's no there's no Goblin, there's no Electro, there's no Lizard, right? Because they already used those. So they're like, who do we have left? We have the Vulture, okay. Sandman, cool. Mysterio, all right. Black Cat, really? What's she bringing to the table here?
Well, she obviously was going to be a villain that turns in the 11th hour to help out Spider-Man and give him the edge, even though we all knew it was going to happen.
Right.
I would love to have seen if there was any concept art for this, because the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, that basically the Andrew Garfield franchise, had such a specific look and feel to it with its villains that I would have loved to have seen what they were exploring for like Doc Ock or Mysterio, because it would not have looked like MCU. It would have looked like Sony. I would have loved to have seen like how mechanical would they have made Doc Ock?
Yeah.
Would they feel like they really need to separate themselves from Sam Raimi, and would have made his tentacles maybe like super angular and like pointy and more savage, or like, man, those are things I wish I could have at least gleaned.
Yeah, I know they had it at the post credit scene in the second one, but you really can't tell, right? You need to see it on a person. I think for this, what I always liked about the Amazing Spider-Man, they really pulled from the Ultimate Universe, right? Because obviously Electro was a blue person rather than the Electro we got later in No Way Home. The Goblin was more of an infected man rather than someone wearing a goblin suit, and Lizard was Lizard. So I think they would have maybe leaned more into like how animalistic a human octopus would look like, right? Maybe they were more organic looking tentacles than the mechanical ones. But who out of this list of names here? Is it Bryan Cranston? Is he playing Doc Ock, or is he playing Vulture in this, right? Like who's playing who in this list?
I mean, are we to assume with Tom Hardy on the roster that Venom would have been in this?
No, this was well before Venom. Like this would have been done in 2013, before Venom came out.
Yeah. I just feel like maybe it's just because we're just off of Mutant Mayhem. I feel like Seth Rogen would have just been the voice of like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
If they would have gone that route,
Or whoever, like maybe not or that pterodactyl from the comic panel. I forget his name. Right, the guy who turned himself into a dinosaur. Because those bottom four are comedians, right? Like, or I wouldn't say comedians, but like humorous actors. So who's the humor here? And I don't feel, maybe it's Mysterio if they gave him the helmet the whole time, would be something. But I'm trying to put like Tom Hardy would probably be Sandman. That'd be a good one for that. Jackie Chan. Nothing against Jackie Chan. I don't know what Sinister Six villain he'd be at the end of this.
I don't know exactly where you put all of these people, but man, if only this could have happened and not have ruined anything else, right. I would have liked to watch this.
Yeah. Now instead we get Madam Web and Morbius and Kraven spinoffs instead, Mike.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's a good chance that maybe one of these people could have been Morbius.
Oh God. I hope not. I really, really hope not. But I think it's interesting. Hopefully more of this stuff comes out. I know there's the Reign of Marvel Studios book that just came out recently. A lot of this is pulling from, and then the timeline of the MCU drops on the 24th, Mike, on Tuesday. So I expect next week's show to actually have some more details pulled out of those books a little more for us, so we can kind of talk about what's that dry erase board look like, Mike, with all that stuff on it that they obviously don't have. But The Sinister Six. So let's go. Let's shift into gear. The latest Spider-Man movie, Across the Spider-Verse, is coming to Netflix on October 31st, Mike. So we are just a little over a week away from being able to watch that at home if you have Netflix, as they raise their prices even further. So
yeah, that'll just keep happening, because they are going to keep raising prices for ad-free tiers until it basically equates to the price of what you would be watching it with ads.
Right.
So they're got to keep, it sucks because I'm not streaming with ads. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going back. I don't care.
Right. Well, I think at this point, Netflix they had a record quarter or something that just came out. They're like, oh, we had the most subscribers, we had the most money, and then they're like, oh, okay, we're raising the prices, which obviously corporate greed and all that other fun stuff. But they're like, well, we did the was it the password sharing thing, and we had signups. So like, well, that's it. But like, you also had a cheaper plans too, right? Like the basic plans are I think all the plans are going up. And it's just going to turn people. You're going to get to a point where you've gone the other way, and people will start unsubscribing because it's cheaper to rent movies again. Like, right, stream them for $3 rather than go through and binge stuff on there, or buy a season for $10 or a show for series for $10 on whatever you buy and watch it in perpetuity. So I'm interested to see when that crashes. But in the meantime, for those interested in Across the Spider-Verse and have not had a chance to see it yet, that'll be a good opportunity to watch it, because I think that's a must-have. And I've heard, Mike, I cannot confirm this, that there are some Spider-Verse references in the Spider-Man 2 game. I've not come across any yet, but I'm excited to see kind of maybe what they would be.
Oh yeah,
could be suits, could be in missions. I don't know yet, but again, I could have been lied to at the end of the day. But I'd be like, oh, that'd be fun to see some of that stuff, right? Because the Spider-Verse is just fresh in our minds, right, after this year. And there's no word on Beyond the Spider-Verse coming out next year. I think it's pretty much, they haven't started it yet. And without actors, I don't think they can do anything either. So, Spider-Man Far From Home, the middle of the MCU Spider-Man movies, is making its way to U.S. Disney Plus on November 3rd. So a little over a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Those the Spider-Man Tom Holland movies are the MCU movies that I rewatch the least, because they are just never conveniently any place where I can find them. Yeah. So maybe now that they're more available, since I had to take breaks over the weekend from playing Spider-Man to eat nutrients, right? I wanted to watch something while that was happening.
It's really I'm sad Mountain Dew's Game Fuel re-release isn't happening until November, because God, what a weekend that would have been with Game Fuel.
That would have been an amazing combo, Chris.
Yeah.
But instead I was scrolling through Disney Plus looking for something to watch, so I threw on Captain America Civil War.
Oh, very nice.
And I was just like, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, why don't I just rewatch the MCU more often? There's so many awesome moments in there that I always forget about, or just I forget that the Russo brothers aren't just people that give us tips and secrets of what's coming out next, that they're actually directors and they have their own specific style, and I just love their Marvel movies so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, the more that's on there, the better it is, right? Like that's the lovely part about it. But for me, sometimes when I rewatch, I'm like, what do I want to rewatch? It's very overwhelming to look at the Marvel catalog. Sometimes I'm like, oh, there's a lot of shows in here, or what movies, but it was Far From Home on there, and The Incredible Hulk recently added. I think we're just No Way Home away from having all the Marvel movies, MCU movies on there. Yeah. And No Way Home just got to Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can watch on there. So it may be a little bit of a longer wait for No Way Home to come to Disney Plus. So I'm very, very excited about that. We the Spider-Man movies, all of them are good. Far From Home, Mysterio, right? Mysterio is coming up quite a bit here in today's note, so love to dive back into that. Okay, so apparently, Mike, there is a convention called Show East Expo this weekend / coming week. And
Show East Expo, okay.
Yeah, never heard about it. Sony has a presentation for movies, right? Apparently some studios are there. Disney is supposed to be there, possibly with the Deadpool sizzle reel or a Captain America 4 sizzle reel. It may not come to the public, but I've heard rumors. But the Sony having a huge presentation there is rumored to release the long-awaited Madam Web trailer on Monday, October 3rd, Mike, tomorrow.
Oh my God, this.
I am
so
intrigued to know what the hell it is, or what's going on with this.
I think the time period, because it's supposed to be in the 90s, right?
Yeah,
If I remember correctly.
90s, early 2000s, one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'll be a fun aesthetic because we've kind of yet to see that superhero serialized in a way.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be kind of fun to see in the trailer. Everyone loves Adam Scott, so I hope we get to see him in the trailer. All of the actors in the movie are, famous and recognizable.
Right.
But how do you market this, right? It's like it's mad. Like all of these villains or other side movies that they've done, I would say have been at least bombastic enough to where you can cut a trailer around the fact that there's no Spider-Man in it. We get to see Morbius's like weird vampire face. You get to see Venom in the symbiote suit, or you're showing off Carnage, or I guess Kraven. That trailer, he bites off an ear and he's doing some crazy stuff. But I'm just like, where
it has magic blood, Mike. The golden ticket for movie trailers, the magic blood.
It's just like, but I'm just curious what the pop and sizzle is going to be. Like, what's the X factor of this trailer that connects everything into this Spider-Man universe?
What even is this movie, right? Like, we've heard so many rumors. What is this point? What is it doing? Obviously, it's supposed to bring, I've heard Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. We've heard, obviously Madam Web, the person at the control of the web. Sydney Sweeney's character is also somebody else. I think like a Julia somebody, a different Spider-Girl character. And this is all before Spider-Man is technically born. And I just don't know what is it doing. Is it like, who is the villain? What is the antagonizing factor here? Is it a multiversal movie, right? Because Madam Web is the middle of the grand Madam, or I guess the grand spider web that connects all these universes together, as we kind of saw a little bit more of Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. So I don't know where any of this exists, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I'm trying not to commit to it, but I'm like, and look into details, but I'm like, I gotta know. Like, they've obviously filmed this movie for a reason. And for those who may or may not remember, it is coming out February 16th of next year still at this point.
Wow, that is soon.
Yeah. Not as soon as Aquaman 2 is, and we got a trailer for it. But we are just in for a slum of a winter here for superhero content, Mike, is what it sounds like. Now, mind you, if this movie is good, we will eat our crow as we always do, right? We've been surprised by movies before. Especially Sony movies. So my
Andor crow was delicious,
right?
So.
Well, and we said, why is Sony doing a Spider-Verse movie? They've never had any luck with Spider-Man movies, and look at how good both of those have been. So obviously we could be wrong and have this, but I'm still trying to find the reason, right? If you want to make a movie, you should have a reason for it, and I cannot find it anywhere. In any nook or cranny, or I've sent my spider bot into my own vents, Mike, to find the reasons for this movie, and they've not come out. But if this movie drops tomorrow, guess what we're going to be talking about next week? The trailer. No. So we'll touch back with you guys next week if that happens. So stay tuned. Last week we went into a very, very deep dive into the Daredevil Born Again / Marvel TV drama going on over there, or I guess the reconfiguration. It's not really dramatic, it's just a reconfiguration. But for the show, the original plan, Mike, and this is could still be in there, may not be in there, but the original plan was that the first arc, 3 to 4 episodes of this, be the trial of the White Tiger. Are you familiar with the White Tiger character at all?
I've seen the character, I think primarily in I want to say Disney XD animation form.
Yeah.
I don't know what show it would have been, but I feel like that's where I've seen it.
Yeah, I think it was the Spider-Man show they did after they canceled Spectacular Spider-Man, or the Goofy. There was one serious Spider-Man show in Disney, and they had the granddaughter of the original White Tiger in there. So the White Tiger is a character supposedly mystic powers, but apparently it's like a vigilante in this. But they're they catch him, and the corrupt cops are beating him up, but apparently Daredevil finds him or takes his place, or an informant, and they find out that they're using the Punisher tattoo logo for their for their own police justice against vigilantes, setting up the second arc, which was going to have Jon Bernthal's Punisher come in and be like, no, we don't do that. Sounds interesting. I hope they keep some of this stuff, right? Jon Bernthal as a Punisher, great grab. Keep it in there. But this was mostly to be why Matt Murdock was not in his Daredevil suit for the first 3, because he was too busy being a lawyer for a trial.
Yeah, it sounds like a really cool arc. One thing, though, this is a big pet peeve that I had in the last legal procedural Marvel show with She-Hulk, is if you're going to be bringing in super powered.
They didn't say he was super powers. They didn't say he was super. They say he was a vigilante. So just
I feel like at some point, if that does happen, like I just want proper explanations of why does Bull Man exist besides a science experiment gone wrong. So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah. Again, Daredevil never really, it doesn't strike me if it is truly a continuation / soft reboot of the Netflix show. The Netflix universe really did a good job of not giving us a lot of powered people, unless they were like Iron Fist. Obviously, was like the most mystical. Daredevil, they only showed his powers once in 3 seasons. So hopefully, again, they can keep it more on the quote unquote city level, as you mentioned, right? The street level stuff.
Well, also too, Daredevil has the story advantage of he's not insanely superpowered, so you can't throw like these big heavy hitters at him. Like he's very much like street justice, like thugs, or even like if they bring in the MCU version of like the Hand. Just highly trained assassins. Those are perfect villains for him.
Yeah. And the Punisher is obviously not powered at all. He's just a crazy man with guns. So, absolutely. So, hopefully they can keep some of the story beats and just make it more, not efficient, but you know what I'm saying? Like more, just keep the rhythm of the show rolling the whole time. So, we'll keep you guys posted if any more of that information drops out as well. Deadpool 3, Mike, is off the calendar for next month, or next May. Sorry, not next month, next year. It is currently delayed with no release date known, and this is due to the SAG-AFTRA strike still ongoing for the actors. And half of the movie is filmed per Sean Levy, so I don't think, even if it picked back up tomorrow, Mike, we wouldn't be able to film this and get it out in time for May. So that brings us to my next point. The hot rumor, the hot scoop on the street is Captain America Brave New World is looking to be moved back into its May release, and Deadpool taking the next one. Because most of this movie is filmed, they wrapped several months ago, so I think this would be the most likely option if they have to keep these release dates, right? The biggest thing is you want actors to promote it, but we're still 8 months away from this.
And I would have to imagine that the 2 films don't have much or any like narrative crossover in a sense of like one has to be released before the other. Right. So this seems like it makes at least easy decision to swap them over.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, this was the original order they were coming out in, right? So they just assumed Deadpool 3 would be done sooner, barring any striking. So that's why they moved it up, because it has, as we've seen, a lot of physical sets, right? With things, the costumes are real; they're not CGI costumes, and they can fix a lot of that stuff post-production ADR. But it looks like Brave New World is going to be more finished. My guess is maybe a couple reshoots left, some polish, finishing the CGI, and then that should be on track to release. And obviously, if you have Harrison Ford, you've got a pretty good draw in for the audience. The old geezer teasers, Mike, as we call them, right? The people who loved watching Indiana Jones back in the day. They're like, well, Harrison Ford, he's my president. I saw him in Air Force One. So if he's still rumored to be president in this one, they'll be good to go. Werewolf by Night in color came out, and I'd not got a chance to see it, Mike. I was going to watch it today. However, we are recording much earlier than usual, thanks to Mike accommodating me because I have to travel all day tomorrow for work. So I've not got to watch it yet. However, it is a spooky season, and I do plan to watch it before Halloween.
Yeah, this is one of those perfect examples of the show where we have bullet points in here,
Yep.
and then we're just like, oh crap, we didn't do the homework.
Yeah. We get overzealous sometimes, but I'd rather have it in here than not have it in there and say we forgot it because.
Yeah. Listen, I opened up Disney Plus this weekend. I saw it popped up, featured prominently on there, but I was just like,
Spider-Man.
what else? Spider-Man.
It's one of those, that movie's still fresh in my mind. I know it's been over a year, but it's still fresh in my mind. I don't know if it's fresh in yours still, right? Like there's no surprises in the color version compared to that. So I'm excited to again watch it. It may be something I watch while I'm traveling for work this week. It's a good hotel watcher, right? Put it on the iPad, watch something. But it is out if you want to watch it. Don't forget, and let us know what you guys think of the color version. This kind of popped up. I'm not a huge Gargoyles stan, Mike. This is something I remember watching as a young child, but not like obsessing over. Were you a Gargoyles fan, if you will?
I feel like Gargoyles hit my life. It was based on whether or not my basic cable package was going to have the Disney Channel or not have the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Or whoever was carrying Gargoyles at the time. So like I was aware of it. I had seen some of it, but I don't think it was ever airing in a consistent fashion. So I would say like I have some nostalgia for it, but like I have no idea what happened. I know Gargoyles come to life. I know people have a big affinity for the voice cast because there's a lot of gravitas behind these like gargoyles coming to life. But that's about it.
Yeah, I know the Gargoyles come alive, and it's in New York City. It's very like a mixture of like old mythology and like in a new city. It kind of always reminded me visually of Batman the Animated Series, if I'm going to be completely honest. It's always at night, right? Gargoyles going to come alive at night, and it's a weird show because I again, it pops up in these things when I'm doing the news for the past 9 years. And the first season has 13 episodes. The second season has 52 episodes. And then the third season has 13 episodes, Mike. It is a very staggered season count when you're looking at this. But I also grew up over watching it, but I didn't watch it live because I had to watch it on ABC when it was syndicated. I always remember watching it at my grandmother's on over the air. It might have been maybe not Saturday mornings, but like remember like weekday cartoons before you go to school kind of thing. I think that's always where I caught it. But for those who are Gargoyles fans, and maybe it'll bring more people out now, they are doing a live action series at Disney Plus finally after people have been clamoring for it for years. And the company Atomic Monster, one of James Wan and another guy are in charge of it, are working on this series, and they are known mostly for their Annabelle franchises, so they know the horror aspect, right? But it sounds like they're going to be diving into maybe, I wouldn't say family friendly, but like a little more less scary stuff for this.
Yes, obviously make this and I'll give it a try. No complaints here. But just if anybody's unfamiliar with Gargoyles, just search Gargoyles show into Google Images, and you're going to see a ton of characters that will need to be CG.
I thought you were going to say something you need to turn off your safe search for. I'm like, no, Mike, no. But yeah, go on.
I will type in the magical letters of NSFW, see what happens. Yeah. Actually, I didn't. There wasn't like a whole lot. Oh, wait. Nope. There it is.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
We're going back. Well, the funny thing is you can expect the results that you're imagining, right? But the first two results is just a gargoyle from the actual show that has a pistol, like a real actual firing gun. Yep. And I guess that was the drama back in the day of Gargoyles. They gave a gargoyle a freaking revolver. And but what I was saying, these are going to be they'd have to be CG characters, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess for the main gargoyle you could paint a super buff guy purple, but and maybe just CG the wings. I guess that's a possibility.
Yeah, but the whole crew of them, like they're kind of like this was in the era of the gummy bears, so you have archetypes of gargoyles, right? Like you have the smart one and the fat one, and then the main lead. Like it also kind of looks like if they live action, what was it, Thundercats, right? Kind of thing, but they're gargoyles. Yeah. So there's gonna have to be some CGI unless they do one of those fancy things with they turn into humans instead. They only come out in their gargoyle form when they need to, which I don't want them to do. Right? That's what you don't want them to do. But the original seasons are on Disney Plus, Mike. I just pulled up just watch, right, and always look at it. And fun fact, if people don't, it's sitting at an 8.0 on IMDb, which is usually one of the harsher reviewing sites. So if you're interested in what it is, but yeah, I'm cool. Show us what it looks like, but I don't think we're the direct audience for that. Lastly, Matthew Vaughn's been out doing stuff. I don't know does he have a movie out recently? Do you know why Matthew Vaughn would be out doing things?
Well, I'm not 100% sure if this is the reason, but this anecdote that you're bringing up reminds me of another one that I saw. Is he has an Apple Plus movie, or it's just a normal feature that is produced by Apple. I don't know. It's called Argyle, and that's supposed to be coming out like next year.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's close enough for him to be doing press on that. That seems a little premature.
It says February 2nd, so I don't think so. Yeah.
But he said in that interview. Oh wait, I know what it is now. My brain is going back in time. There's a guy I follow on Twitter. He is I think he used to work for like MTV like movie news or something. We've brought him up on the show before. I can't remember his name for the life of me, so sorry. Yeah. But he has a podcast, and he was tweeting about how he had Matthew Vaughn on it, and I guess this is a big deal because Matthew Vaughn historically just never goes on podcasts, so this is one of the very few times he's done like a long form interview. Yeah. So maybe that's why some of this stuff is coming out. But one of the fun tidbits that I saw was his movie Argyle, which is starring Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa, which I didn't even know Dua Lipa acted because I don't.
I think it's like her first thing. Yeah, I think it's her
first. There's like a trailer out for it. It looks like a spy movie in the vein of Kingsman, and I guess that's for a purpose because they are supposed to be existing within the same world, and there could be crossovers in the future. But obviously, you got to see if Argyle is good and works out at all before you start planning all of these interconnected universes. But I think that's cool.
Yeah, it says. I mean, I just looked up Argyle because I've seen the photos of Henry Cavill with that weird fucking hairstyle, and I can't stand to look at it. Like, it kind of hurts me, right, with his haircut and that. But it says it's first of a franchise, obviously. But Matthew Vaughn's no stranger to franchises. He's been part of X-Men. He did Kick-Ass. Then he's done the Kingsman 3 movies. So. Very, very excited. But one of the things is Kick-Ass is a movie that came out, I think, 2010 maybe, and based on the comic book by Mark Millar. And he says that a reboot is in the works for this, and which is crazy because I looked up, he's been saying this for like 3 years, and like it's like the rights for the movies lapse at 2023 this year, so like that's why he can go back and work on a reboot for this, but it will not have like the original cast, but he does not rule out that the original cast couldn't return because the comic books there was like a slight reboot with Kick-Ass kind of thing, and some of the characters crossed over. So I feel like it'd just be an expansion of the universe really down there. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel like we've come too far from the original Kick-Ass idea. We'd have to update it, right, to make it, because we now have like things like The Boys and Invincible on that stuff. People are skewering superhero stuff, which is kind of what this was, the vigilante skewering. So I don't know where this exists now, or if anyone has any interest in Kick-Ass coming back after all this time.
You do bring up a good point, which I didn't even think about. It's just the whole point of why Kick-Ass exists and created anyway. So I mean, I would think probably the most transformative thing you could do from a practical point of view is make it a series, instead of making it a set of films. So at least you're setting yourself apart there, the Kick-Ass series. I know the Hit Girl comic books have kind of started relatively recently within the last couple of years. So maybe you approach it from the angle of Hit Girl instead of Kick-Ass. I mean, that could give you just a different way into it. But yeah, you do bring up a good point. Like, who is skewering superheroes the best right now? And yeah, it definitely is The Boys, and to even some extent Invincible.
Right. Yeah.
Also kind of approaching like DC universes more specifically. But I went ahead and I added that podcast. I looked it up. It was from Josh Horowitz. He's a great interviewer, very plugged into the nerdy side of things.
So in Kick-Ass, in the one of the later books post Hit Girl, there a new person, her name's Patience Lee, takes up the role of Kick-Ass, and then comes into conflict with. So they have history of like quote rebooting it, but like in the same universe kind of deal. And you mentioned Hit Girl, obviously. Mark Millar, he's doing a bunch of comic books. You know, obviously he sold a bunch of stuff to Netflix. What was what's this stuff they're doing?
Jupiter something?
Yeah, Jupiter's Legacy, I think, is one of them, and some other stuff. So yeah, I think there's opportunity in the content to do it, but again, you just can't do the same thing again, right? That's what we're saying. Down there. He also mentioned he was supposed to direct X-Men 3. I don't know if you remember that. He was signed on for X-Men 3 before he quit, or they fired him, one of the two, because what happened is they wrote a script specifically for, he unveiled this in the podcast, for Halle Berry to get her to sign on, and then they were going to cut all of those scenes out the second she signed on, knowing it. And he was like, you don't do that to like an award-winning actress kind of thing. And then it wasn't Bryan Singer. He did the first two. I forget who took over that. Brett Ratner, another Hollywood awful person.
What a rat pack.
So Matthew Vaughn got out, and then he came back and did First Class, which obviously a great movie for that. So Matthew Vaughn does great stuff, and you can check out that podcast. Well, Mike, that's the end of the show. I want to get back to playing more Spider-Man, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Back to what really matters.
Yes, food and Spider-Man. Boy, if I had some pizza rolls and that Mountain Dew and Spider-Man, I'd just fall asleep down here tonight. But yeah, we're going to do that. So if people want to know more about the show, what we're doing, where we are every week, where can they get all that goodness at?
Well, all you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. That is the headquarters for all things that we do over here at the show, at the podcast. We have a awesome upcoming release calendar, which can be very, very, very helpful keeping track of when all of these things are supposed to come out, what's been delayed. We use it as a tool ourselves all the time, so we wanted to give it to you all. We got our awesome show notes over there, too, so if you want to check out that podcast, which I just found at the 11th hour, just before the podcast was over. It's a video podcast with real people. It feels more like a video interview than a podcast, but I guess everything's a podcast now. But you can go check that out in our show notes. We love hearing from you. We love it. Are you playing Spider-Man? Are you digging it? Did you watch Werewolf by Night in Color? Because we sure didn't.
No,
so let us know. Let us know. Reach out. We also love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of this show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy. We'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.